Welcome everybody to Elevate the Game. My name is Mrs. Denise Parker, and I am the host and also the Internships and Careers Director for National College Resources Foundation. And I'm super excited today because we're going to have a wonderful conversation about things that will elevate you in life, elevate your personal goals, elevate your educational goals, your career goals, and most importantly, catapult you to the next phase. As people of all different backgrounds, we are trying to make sure that we're closing the gap on any type of inequities that are happening, whether it's in education or in the workforce. But to do that, we have to have more conversations that deepen our thought, deepen and widen our perspective on how we're going to go about this. So let's jump right into it. And I'm super excited for this conversation today because it's a conversation that I actually started with my own personal self. I started reading more about energy and alignment, taking all the stuff that I've learned in my past and then applying it to myself in this age, in this era, in 2024 is taking me to a whole nother level. And as I'm having conversation with young people who are seeking internships and going after their careers and getting into college and thinking about their next phase after college, it's about a mindset and a mind shift. And to join me for this conversation about energy, which we were going to be talking about today, Elevate Your Game presents the power of unlocking your energy, is a special guest who came to our seminar at our LA College Black College Expo, and he is a founder, a businessman, and also an entrepreneur in so many different ways. He's taken all the things that he's learned in his past and applied it to some really cool ventures. Let me introduce my special guest, Mr. Chase Henry. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you doing, Denise?
I'm good. I'm good. And you are just chilling with your 2024 sweater on, representing the
Gotta
youth.
represent. Have to represent all the time.
I love it. So real quick, just tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Chase. I'm one of the co-founders of Henry Mask, which is the number one face mask brand in, I won't say in the world, because we were like literally global during the pandemic and even now. And also co-founder of Bulk Raw, um, which is one of the number one natural skincare suppliers in North America.
I love it. I love it. How long have you been doing this type of work? Like, health and wellness pretty much.
Um, I got into Bulk Raw pretty much last year. Well, going towards the end of 2023. I would say like maybe September is when I started Bulk Raw. Um, but as far as the health and wellness part of it, I mean, I don't know, it's been part of my routine for a minute.
I love it. I love it. So today's conversation that I wanted to have, it has a lot to do with business and taking yourself to the next level. But pretty much sometimes that can be hindered based on who we are and represent as a human being and how we present ourselves out there to the world. And I use the term energy. I don't know if you use that term, but based on our conversations, you had this aura around you that show, you're perpetuating life, light, and love. And I can see that based on that just energy that you were presenting to me on our conversations over the phone, being introduced to you in person, I felt that you will be a great person to talk to about how you can take your energy to, take your life to the next level. So, what does energy mean to you?
Um, well, first off, thank you for that. I really appreciate you picking up on that energy because I think the energy is real. Like when I meet a person, I not only meet that individual, I also meet their energy as well. You know, and I think that that's something that I've always picked up on for pretty much a large portion of my life. But what it means to me, though, is you know, it's it's one of those things where you have to really be in tune with it, with your energy, um, especially as an entrepreneur, because it's so easy to get discouraged or just unmotivated.
Mm.
And so your energy levels have to be on point, and you have to be able to control that energy, like yourself, because you don't really just have anybody there just like filling you up on energy for the day. So it's one of those things where you have to know it, acknowledge it, and be able to tap into it, and even be able to project where you want your energy to be
Mm.
in order to get to where you need to go.
When you were younger, did you grow up in a very safe and warm environment and, uplifting you and constantly just fueling your ideas and supporting your ventures as far as you want to grow and go in life? Or did you have some hindrances that found that, you had roadblocks you came up against constantly? How would you
Well,
see your life growing up?
I was a middle child, right? So, and then I had brothers, so it wasn't that safe. Um, um, but I mean, like I grew up in a loving family.
Mhm,
However, it was like we're gonna do this. At the same time, I also grew up in an entrepreneurial family as
mhm,
well. So I was exposed to entrepreneurship at a very early age. I mean, I think at the age of 13, 14, my family owned Subway restaurants. And so my
mhm,
brother and I would be in there managing and running the store. And I think at one point we even did homeschool. My dad said it was homeschool, but he really taught us how to run a business. So I guess it was homeschool. Um, but it was kind of like growing up, it was this is what you're supposed to do, right? You're
mhm,
supposed to, finish high school, go to college, get this job, retire. And I say I followed down that path a little bit, but then somewhere along the way, I don't know. There's like this alchemist that
mhm,
was like, but I can create this future. I
mhm,
can create a different future if I make my own path.
mhm,
Like I know what my life could be like if I go down the road that you want me to go down,
mhm.
but there's something that I see that you might not be able to see, right? And I think that's a vision thing. God doesn't give everybody the same vision. So the things that I see, someone else might not necessarily be able to see, but that's my vision. Um, and when it's your vision, it's up to you to bring that vision to life, to fruition.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I think that it's important to know where you came from and to know that all the steps that your family has placed in front of you, like you have entrepreneurs to look up to. Not everybody has that. And you honed into those skills. How did you transition from being a young entrepreneur to now a thriving entrepreneur as, that growth period? I mean, you're taking bold leaps. When I was talking to you, you said you just got back from Africa, you've been to Japan, you just been traveling all over, just picking up more opportunities as you see fit. Where do you see your life and how do you see it has grown from being young into now as a mature entrepreneur? How do you see that growth?
Well, the thing about it is, some people would look at it and say, they would look at the right now and say, oh, you're lucky. But there's a lot of trial and error. Like there was a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of, um, yeah, trials and tribulations, to be honest with you. But it was just knowing that there's no plan B, like giving up and saying those words just didn't exist in my vocabulary. I found the thrill in figuring out how to make it work rather than the comfort in giving up, right? It's very comfortable to say, oh, I can't do this. I'll just go and there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. I think to each their own, but again, I felt like the path that I was on, I knew if I gave up, then my life would be full of regrets,
Mhm,
but if I stay the course and I
mhm,
just keep going after it, eventually we're going to get to what we're going after.
mhm,
But there's some trial and error
mhm,
and optimism. as well. You
Right.
know, I think the mind works best like the mind works like a parachute, right?
Right.
It works best when it's open. So there was a lot of situations and a lot of places that I've been, and I may have seen an opportunity where others didn't. You know, and they may have been focused on, having fun, or they may have been focused on the scenery, and I was more focused on the opportunity.
Mm.
You know, but there were times where, and there were plenty of times where I'm rubbing two quarters together to get a dollar out of it.
Mhm.
But it was like, but if I rub these quarters together hard enough, I'll get a dollar. You know, and just knowing. So,
That's what I hear. I hear from you that this positive half glass full perspective. That's the energy that I picked up from you from day one. It's like it doesn't matter like how you got there, but it's how you're going to end and how you're going to maintain yourself, your sense of self.
mhm.
What does that mean to you? Like that is part of energy. What does that mean to you maintaining yourself along the journey?
Well, it's a lot about speaking things into existence and then feeling where you are, right? Even before you're there. Like I, an affirmation that I speak to myself every day. I even write it on the mirror. Is I am happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy.
Mm,
Not I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be wealthy. But I am happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy. And so I like to speak these things as though they already exist. So, and then, but to also break it down a little bit as well. You know, like if I were to talk to someone and ask them, uh, what is their why for
mm,
being successful, some people would say, oh, time freedom or
mm,
financial freedom. But
mm,
what does that mean exactly? You have to be a bit more specific. Financial freedom needs to have an amount, and then it needs to have a reason why. And
mm,
once you've identified the amount and why, then it just makes it that much easier to walk in that existence. So I always speak as though I'm already uh, I'm already achieving, or I've already achieved that goal that I'm going after. That way, I look up and I'm
mm.
like, damn, I'm already here. I didn't even realize it.
Right?
You know,
I see that so often. Like some people think that they have to look like the pictures in somebody else's Instagram post. But when you finally scale to the place where you're pretty successful for where you thought you were, to now, it doesn't really feel like it was supposed to seem. And you're happy, you're thriving, and then you look up, you're like, oh wow. And now you want more. Now you can obtain more. Now you can say, I think I can go even higher. I think I can, go deeper with my wish list or my wants and my desires and be more specific, like you said, as opposed to just saying, I want to be financially free.
yeah,
There's a dollar amount behind that. It's tailored towards something specific. How do
yeah.
you how do you make your goals? How do you set goals? How do you do that for yourself?
I have a really big vision board. I have a really big whiteboard, and I write these things down on them. And if
Mhm,
they're goals, I like to mark through them as I achieve them. You
mhm,
know, and I get up going after it. Yeah,
mhm,
I think that when we keep it in our head,
mhm,
um, it's not really it's not really alive yet.
mhm,
Once you write it down, and we're talking about energy, that's energy right there, right? Like you're
mhm,
actually writing it down and you're bringing this thing to life.
mhm.
Like any book or any movie, like you've ever seen a movie that was once a book once upon a time, and go from reading the book to actually watching the movie, and you can see like all the animation, everything going on. At one point in time, that was in someone's head,
Right.
and they were able to take this idea and this adventure and
Mhm.
go from it being a book to a full-on film. And so I like to look at it the same way. Like my goals, my dreams, and my aspirations are a movie,
Mhm.
or it's a book, or it's an animation or whatever I want it to be, and I write it down, and then I go and explore. I go on an adventure.
I love that. I love that. Visualizing yourself is the key to a lot of personal self, awareness. What do you say to young people who can't see themselves outside of the four walls of their environment? Maybe it's just so negative. They're living day to day, moment to moment, minute to minute because there's too much violence or trauma. How do you speak to those types of young people, who experience things that are a little bit more extreme?
Sure. Um, you still have to. You can. You have two choices. You know, you can make excuses or you can make it happen.
Mhm.
And there's plenty of people who are in unfortunate situations. I mean, shit, I was homeless at one point,
Mm.
and not to say that, because I was homeless at one point, you have to, you can't go through anything and complain about it. Um, but again, like where you are doesn't determine where you're going. And so you kind of have to find a way to visualize where you're going, where you want to be. The moment you can close your eyes and you can see it. You can see yourself there. You can taste it. You can smell the ambiance and everything that's around, like you close your eyes and you're there. Then it's real. All you have to do is just keep going after it and reach far enough and you'll get to it. It really doesn't matter, like what scenario that you're in.
I
I
don't.
think that it takes the same amount
Mhm.
it takes the same amount of energy, to be negative about a situation as it does to be positive about a situation. So, you could take that energy and complain, but the moment you do that, you're only going to attract more of what you're complaining about. Or you can find a way to be grateful and you can find these aspirations and speak those like I said, as though you're already there, and that's what you're going to end up attracting.
And that's what I like. I like the fact that you're saying you find it. You find it along the way. Even if you're experiencing something traumatic, like you said, homelessness. Those people who are not homeless, maybe it's sickness, maybe it's, some type of people are telling you no all the time. How do you take those rejections, those defeats, so to speak, those failures, so to speak, and shift them into a different light? I think that's the key thing with when I'm talking to people and coaching them through a lot of stuff. Their mental has been so beat down by society. Mental has been beat down by their environment, and they can see themselves there, but they still have to get over that mind, you know, kryptonite that they have
Yeah.
that's blocking the power of the other side, the breakthroughs. And, some people get more spiritual, some people get more wild. They said, forget it. You only live once. We're just going to just live and go hard. And if I mess up, I mess up. And then there's other people that to tap into more of that spiritual realm to get more into their faith and their sacred rituals.
Hmm.
How do you find balance between the extreme of going hard and being courageous and outrageous to the groundingness of spirit, faith, and stability in a rooted way?
I meditate. To be honest with you, I meditate, and it's not something that I always did, because I've been anxious about stuff, or I've had scenarios where I heard no too many times as well. Um, and I like to just take that no. No doesn't mean no. No might mean not right now. No might mean I didn't understand your presentation. Like no might mean you might need to go and optimize your listing.
Mhm.
No might mean you're talking to the wrong person. you know, but it doesn't mean your product sucks. It doesn't mean you suck. It just means, it means one of those things. And then you just figure out how to take that no and turn those words around, and now it went from to no to shit, it's on. you know?
I love it. It's on.
Yeah, just being honest with
That is power. That's power right there. It's just visualizing it. Everything you've suggested up to this point is really pushing the envelope on very simply say put, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on yourself. That's what I hear from you.
it'll
Is
be the
there,
biggest mistake of your life if you give up.
I always tell myself, it's like, do I want to wake up? You need those days where you rest. You need those days to just kind of curl up and just veg out and maybe be a couch potato. just one day
Sure.
a week at least.
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, you also don't want to utilize your time all the time to be in that space of just sloth and just waste. But you want to use that time to be very productive in how you meditate in that environment. Like I set up my space to be conducive to what I feel I need. And watching programs that kind of, even though it can be a little trashy sometimes, I still want to feed my spirit a little bit so that I won't get caught up in that. And then I can't get out of that gauntlet of being in the trash. How
Yeah.
do you protect yourself, your thoughts, the energy that you have as you're going when you're having your restful, just, I just want to just turn everything off and just veg out to the times where you need to be more really, really more focused. How do you protect yourself?
Um, I pay very close attention, to the people that are around me. I
Mhm,
pay very close attention to the music that I listen to,
mhm,
and what I allow to watch on television. I don't really watch too much TV.
mhm,
I don't, to each their own, but I don't really get into too many reality shows. Um, I might watch documentaries if I do watch
mhm,
television, but I prefer not to be honest with you. Uh, I might, I might just turn on some jazz or something, and that'll keep me where I need to be. Kind of sounds a little boring, you know, but at the same time, there's certain things that I can't allow into my realm,
mm,
because if, let's say for instance, I sit and I'm binge watching, unproductive television shows.
mhm,
I feel like maybe that could show up in my life at
mm,
some point, and that's not really what I want.
mhm,
Um, so again, I think that everybody's a little different, but as far as me, yeah, I mean, I like to read. I
mhm,
like to meditate. When it's time to rest, I'll definitely do that. But even when I'm in the car, like I don't listen to the radio when I'm in the car. I'll
mhm,
either listen to an audiobook,
mhm,
or I'm gonna listen to jazz. And let's say, for instance, I'm doing like a 2 or 3 hour drive. I'm gonna listen to like partial jazz, but then the rest of the time I'm mostly listening to an audiobook. And
mm,
I'm internalizing it because it kind of makes me feel like there's somebody in the car talking to me. So it helps keep me awake. But at the same time, I'm gaining some knowledge from
mm,
this rather than, just like listening to something that's not gonna benefit me at all. Look, it's all good with being entertained. That's fine. But then there's a time to and there's a time not to. And
mhm,
then again, it's like, where are you going with your life? Where do you want to go? And do
mhm,
you spend your time accordingly?
mhm.
Right. So I feel like the the energy that you put in is also the energy that you're gonna get out.
I love it. I love it. Tell us where to close us out for tonight. Tell us where you're ending up. What's the journey? You started with Henry Mask. No, you didn't start it. You started with Bokra, and then now you have this wonderful other company that has health benefits also to protect people from getting sick and protecting. Where are
Mm.
you? Your website's up there on the ticker. Where are you?
Oh, hey, there it is.
Yeah, where are you growing? Where are you growing? Where are you growing? Where's your business growing?
So all right, so we started Henry actually first. That was in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then Bulk Raw started that business last year. And where we're going with Bulk Raw is astronomical. I mean, we're already every day we're just doing, we're scaling it every week, every month. We're scaling and growing.
Mhm,
So there's really, I don't want to say there's no telling where it's going because I have a really good idea of where it's going. Uh, but we'll definitely be supplying to a lot of the major skincare brands and beauty supply stores. But I also would like to take it and, allow it to take me to different countries where I can discover indigenous herbs and plants that grow in these countries, natural, that we can take and turn into, all natural skincare products, or even healthcare products.
Hmm.
And then at some point, who knows, maybe we'll host like holistic retreats, and help guide people through meditation, or teach people how to grow their own vegetation, you
Mm.
know
I
or teach people how to start a business. So
love it. I love it. So you are in this space for the long haul. What is your reason why that you're in this space?
because I love to see where I end up at. I just love the idea of where I could possibly end up at, compared to, again, I was in aviation. I was an aircraft mechanic for a while, and I knew every week, I knew, and it's not all about the money, right? I feel like we don't do this for the money at this point. When you do it for the money, you're gonna, it's not fun. But when you do it because it's fun, because you enjoy it, the money's gonna naturally follow you. And when I was in aviation, it was like I knew if I worked this much this week, I know what my paycheck was going to be. And I knew I could never get higher than this. Didn't matter what I did, I could never get higher than this.
Mhm,
Nor could I take 5 days off if I want to,
mhm.
you know? Um, so I know what that life was like. I don't know what this life, could give me. Like, I have an idea of, like, these are the things I want, but I feel like it's going to be so much greater than I could have even ever fathomed.
I love it. I love it. So I have your Insta. This is your handle at I
That's
am Chase Morgan, and that's on all the social platforms:
Yep,
TikTok, IG, Facebook.
yep.
Um, so what would you close out with this saying about energy and to our audience? Our audience, our age demographic for our YouTube channel is 18 to 20, 28, 25, 28, 25, 25, 28. What would you, just under 30, what would you say is some final words of encouragement for young people who are dreaming about taking it to the next level?
I would say you can do anything that you put your mind to. Like, it doesn't matter.
Mhm,
Some people might think that you're crazy, and
mhm,
that's okay. Like, again, that's your dream, that's your vision. So, you know, be as crazy about it as you want to be. Again, they only call you crazy until it works, and then they call you a genius once it starts working. They're like, "Oh, I knew him," "I knew her." So yeah, and protect your energy, because that's yours.
right.
And it's so real too. Like, that energy is very real, and so it has to be guarded, and it has to be protected, because there are energy vampires out here. There are people who, they might see your full potential, they might see your greatness, and they might not want you to get there, because they like you here,
Mhm,
not here. But you're supposed to be here, so go where you're supposed to go, and go as high as you want to go, and don't let anyone stop you from doing that.
mhm,
Um, they say the sky's the limit, but that's not the case, because there's satellites hanging up in space.
mhm.
So, I think at one point people thought that Elon Musk was crazy, but look at everything that he's done, right? And so again, if he could achieve that, then there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you cannot do. But whether you believe you can or can't, you're correct. So choose wisely.
I love it. I love it. This has been a great conversation about elevating your game and the power of unlocking your energy. I took a lot of great words of wisdom from you, especially about protecting your energy within your hearing, your scope of hearing and what you watch, and also in, believing that you both can fail and you both can succeed. It's like it's either you could do both. You could do both. Believe in more of the success than the failure, and then it will just take you to the next level. I hope this has been helpful for our audience. I want you guys to know that we're here at National College Resources Foundation is here to serve you. You can follow us on any of our socials at ncr foundation at ncr foundation, and you can also go to our website at www.thecollegeexpo.org. If you're looking for internships and career opportunities, it's /students/internships careers. And you can find us on all social platforms again. Again, my name is Mrs. Denise Parker. I am your host and your internships and careers director for NCRF. And this was Elevate Your Game. Until next time, thank you, Chase.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Denise Parker, National College Resources Foundation Director of Internships and Careers. I'm super excited because we've been helping our students to get opportunities with our corporate partners and our sponsors to make sure they get internships and early career pipeline pathways into the jobs of their dreams. It's awesome because we're not just helping them with resume building and interview tips, but we're also helping them to figure out how their major is mixed into what they want to do in their passions for life. And it's finding a purpose. It's not just a job to build up skills, it's also to find their career journey. Not everybody knows what they want to do when they get older. Not everybody can figure it out along the way. It might take 20 years, it might take 15 years, it might take 5 years. But guess what? Our organization, NCRF, is here to help them, follow them through, to find that support that they need from the resources that we have from our wonderful corporate partners. And I'm here to advocate for you as an internship and careers director.